Day 3. That damned camp loudspeaker should be shut. It's warm and cozy and I don't want to get up. The floor is cold and the wheelchairs and the leg braces chill to touch. Like a cavalry unit, Cabin 4 is getting harnessed for the day. I disconnect Aaron's bladder bag and run down to the bathroom to dump it. It's at least warm. No one has a wet bed. Yippee! I'm amazed at how quickly Dominic and I have adapted to the task of getting everyone dressed and moving. The cabin is very confining. Definitely not built for wheelchairs. For the first time I sense it, and it's spoken about. We are all beginning to look forward to the day ahead. In our morning trudge to breakfast, I noticed I still had on my acorn necklace. Dominic observed my discovery and pointed that he did also. So did Benny and Thomas. We all did. The Acorn People were on the move. Camp Wigan was administered by a retired Army colonel, Mr. Bradshaw. He had a ruddy complexion and a manner that matched. He administered the camp like a Mandarin warlord. One day he would be at breakfast reading orders and thoughts for the camper, and the next day he would be gone. The following day he would swoop into camp with visiting dignitaries, give another set of directives, and be off again. What he left in his wake was a set of regulations and schedules that were hand-me-downs from the scouts. They might have made sense to a group of troopers who could move between the craft center and the pool in 5 minutes. For us, each move was a campaign. Just getting to the pool took half an hour, with another half hour to get out of clothing and ready for the water. The recreational schedule in the camp was laid out in hourly blocks. It went something like this. Breakfast, 8. Crafts, 9. Hiking, 10. Study in the meadow, 11. Lunch, 12. Open recreation, 1. Swimming, 2. Dinner, 4. Campfire, 6. Taps, 7:30. It was a masterful plan for scoutmasters. For us, it was out of the question. Each group of 3 cabins would rotate about the camp on its own schedule. It was like a merry-go-round. We were always moving, getting ready to move, or finishing a move. Out of the corner of our eyes, we could see everyone else engaged in a similar pursuit. Besides the obvious problem of never having enough time to really do anything, this carousel schedule kept the kids from meeting other kids. You were always with the same group. This meant boys and girls were never together. Oh, perhaps that was the reason behind all this. Dominic decided at breakfast to talk with the kids about that day ahead, as if we could plan it ourselves. Following breakfast, we would go directly to the pool. The decision was unanimous. The pool was being used by a group of girls. I could see the headlines. Group of boys wearing nothing but acorn necklaces attacks girls in the camp pool. That's not quite the way it happened. Participants in the first ever integrated swim were self-conscious and then flirtatious in a typically pubescent way. The boys worried about their trunks being tightly tied and their hair. My God, I had to comb their hair before they would venture out to poolside. The boys kept to one side of the pool, the girls attached themselves to the other like a string of pearls. Soon, like melting ice cream, the sun and the water worked their magic. Children? No. Young adults? No, children. Were playing the games of dunk and run or just plain show off. With coy glances and gossipy chatter, the girls attracted the boys' attention. The boys relied on stunts of bravery to claim equal attention. Even Thomas Stewart, the most distant of all, putted about the pool in his barge of tubes and orange jackets. I caught him smiling for the first time when he, oh so slightly, nudged a girl in an equally high pile of tubes. They were playing bumper cars in a soft but deliberate way. It was almost erotic, bumping and touching each other through the elasticity and movement of the tubes. All my questions about sex and the handicap were answered in front of my gaze. If ever there was a dance of affection, with taunts and prowess and just plain sexual play, it was taking place in the splashes and noise before me. Our red-haired submarine found 3 girls of similar inclination, and down they went. Aaron was being pushed by Benny B and a group of younger girls. They eventually made a chain of bobbing bodies that moved around and around the pool, interrupted by occasional water fights and screams of enjoyment. By the end of the hour, kids were helping and teaching each other the unique water tricks. There was a great deal of speculation as to who had a crush on whom. Spider had it all figured out. He had a mate for everyone at camp. As for himself, well, it was a toss-up between two of the women counselors. He liked older women. Dressing took place at a record speed. There was a new excitement in the air. Leaving the pool area with a cluster of children, I noticed that a blind girl named Mary was wearing an acorn necklace. She was a tall, angular girl with a kind face and a warm smile. She seemed to be aware of our presence as we started up the hill toward the cabin. I turned to Martin. He still had on his necklace. So did Thomas. The question of how she got the necklace slid from my mind and then back again with a rush as Eric complained, "I've lost my necklace. Hey, can we stop so I can make another one?" There was a chuckle at this revelation. Benny asked, "Where'd you lose it?" Spider and Benny B chatted together. "Couldn't be you gave it to Mary, could it?" Eric looked slightly sick and then relieved as Martin saved the day with an idea. "Let's make a bunch of necklaces, okay?" Betty, not letting go, said, "Yes, we can give them to our girlfriends." Thomas Stewart surprised us all by talking. He didn't say much. His words were brief. Not a bad idea. We set about making acorn necklaces by the gross. By the end of the afternoon, we had successfully cornered the acorn necklace market. There wasn't an acorn anywhere in sight. Not one. Benny wore his necklaces, and he stuffed into suitcases those he couldn't wear. The others simply hung their treasures from their chairs. Throughout the days that followed, they gave them to everyone. The entire camp. Kids, counselors, cook, and even Mrs. Nelson, the old nurse, became Acorn Society members.